Ladies and gentlemen, we remain concerned that gender-based violence will remain a shadow pandemic and that justice will remain elusive for many women and girls if Kenya does not honor its word. It will also continue lagging behind in the promotion of gender equality and exacerbate the current prevalent rates of sexual gender-based violence, including lifetime physical and/or sexual intimate partner violence at 40.7%, child marriage at 22.9%, and female genital mutilation at 21%, which are often accompanied by or result in adolescent pregnancies and a host of other sexual and reproductive health injustices among women and girls. We therefore urge the government of Kenya to honor the 12 commitments to end all forms of sexual gender-based violence by 2026 and further call upon fellow civil society organizations and the private sector to intensify the fight against gender-based violence by 1. Institutionalize each of the 12 commitments by linking each to a state department or organization for action planning and budgeting, and embed them in county planning documents as well. 2. Develop a clear roadmap and accountability framework of how each of the 12 commitments will be implemented with meaningful engagement of non-governmental civil society and women rights organizations, as well as grassroots communities. 3. Rolling out the Komesha Duluma campaign in all the 47 counties. And finally, 4. Institutionalize the Generation Equality Forum Secretariat within the Ministry of Public Service, Youth, and Gender to fast-track action planning and implementation of the 12 GEI.
We do not have adequate strategy in terms of preventing the violence from happening in the first place, because if the violence wasn't happening, then we will not be having survivors raising issues in terms of access to justice, access to services, etc. So we need to have programs which target the prevention aspect of the violence, which is the problem. And this we can do, for instance, in schools. We need to teach our boys, we need to teach our girls that we are equal, men and women. And I can tell you for sure that the future is not male, the future is not female, the future is equal. The future is equality.
We recognize that even as civil society, the gender gap has existed for long, and one of the ways that we've handled that is actually building the citizen-generated data and evidence. And so the next thing now is how do we then integrate this into formal systems, where formal data generation systems. And so we are working closely with state agencies such as the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics to help them develop those guidelines so that, unlike before, we can actually bring the evidence that we've been collecting over the years to feed into the formal system and sort of fill those data gaps that are existing.
If you look at, for example, even the issue of teenage pregnancies, we documented 1 year ago that 10,000 girls sat for their examination when they're pregnant. These girls gave birth. We've never heard of a man convicted who made the girl pregnant. So if our governance structures can work so that we work with systems, not individuals.
When it comes to the roadmap, we cannot say that there is none. You'll appreciate that these commitments were made less than a month ago. Stakeholders have been having meetings, and the meetings are still going on. Without an action plan, we cannot go anywhere. So the action plan will be realized by consultation of each, by the collaboration between the government, the CSOs, the private sectors. We do have meetings that are ongoing, and probably when all is well, the same will also be shared.
And of course, nowadays also sexuality has changed. We also have intersex, we have different groups. So then that is why we are saying the future is equal. No one is going to be dominant on top of the other. We've looked at the budget, and we note that what has been allocated is even less than 0.1%. And that's why we are issuing this statement that we want to see money going to, for example, shelters. We want to see money going to support DNA centers, forensic evidence. So far, we don't have much of that. We want to see money going to support police officers in training and even in equipping them. We have gender desks, but we don't have gender officers within the police station. We only have one polycare station, which I'm not sure whether it is even running as we speak. So these are areas which need to be budgeted, and that's why we are saying that each and every commitment needs to be embedded in an action plan, needs to be tagged in an office or a state department.